And Reem says, can we talk about AI/Gen AI readiness? What do companies need to have in place in order to use both of these technologies?
Well, I don't know that they have to have a technology in place to adopt Gen AI. I think that that's being incorporated in a lot of the ERP systems. It's being incorporated in a lot of the platforms that we've been talking about. I don't think that anyone's going to be able to avoid using AI. I recently heard at a conference with the Pharmaceutical Sciences Group in Toronto that AI is being used to optimize processes within the healthcare environment that are really just a matter of being able to replace the kind of the motion studies that used to go on with how processes are conducted within an organization. And now they are being automated. You can place agents on desktops to see how people actually click through different application sets. And you can find that optimized way of performing any operation within an organization. So I don't think it's so much preparation as it is learning to adopt and change with the flow. As more and more AI becomes available to us and is used in different ways, we have to adjust to that. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing coming.
Yeah, makes total sense. And then there's also the data consideration too, just making sure that these reams of data that your organization has accumulated over the years, that it's cleaned up, that it's relevant, that it can actually be used for AI and Gen AI purposes. I think that's a prerequisite as well, as just making sure that the data piece of it has been addressed. And that's true whether you're going with an AI model or analytics or even just business intelligence and reporting, more fundamental business intelligence and reporting. You need those strong data inputs as well.
Eric, are you getting back to that whole phase zero and data cleansing discussion?
I'm teeing it up for you. Yes. Yeah. And it's funny. We just keep coming back to that. You do that phase zero strategy, roadmap, plan, all that stuff up front. It's not going to solve all your problems, but it's going to help you work through some of these things. So for example, if you're going down the path of AI, the data and some of the things you talked about as well, these things are going to be major activities within that roadmap, and you can start to lay out and figure out how you're going to go about that.
Right.
So what, if we look to risks, what do you think the biggest risks are that organizations will face in their transformations in 2024? Maybe that might be different or more risky, than in years past.
I think that one of the risks is embarking on the journey that we've been talking about for digital transformation and not doing your homework. Homework's, that's not even the right term, where people are making decisions to work with a certain platform provider or a software vendor. That is a partnership that's going to last over the next 10, 20 years, right? You're not going to do this again. You're not going to implement an entire new software system or digital transformation in 2 years after you just embarked on it this year. So you have to make sure that you choose the right partners going forward. And that's what I think that people are not understanding the complete nature of that. So they've got to have it focused on their business and certainly that planning and phase zero piece again. But you also have to choose partners that are going to be with you in the entire journey, that are going to be able to adapt to the new technologies that are coming in that journey as well. And going with somebody like, we're implementing JD Edwards or Bond or something like that as an older system that is going to replace an older system or be an upgrade. Is that really going to be relevant in 5 or 10 years? Or are we going to have to implement something new? So I think that's the biggest threat in 2024 is not looking forward enough. Things are changing rapidly so that over the next 12 months, things will probably change and change again in 2 years. but you've got to have partners that are going to be sustainable all the way
Mhm.
through that entire journey.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think the key there is partners. You talked about the death of the big GSI model earlier, the big global system integrators.
Yeah,
Part of the problem there is, to your point that you made earlier, they're focused on one technology when in reality, most organizations need multiple technologies to automate or to enable their digital transformations. And so having multiple partners that can help you navigate that, and then also having that PMO, that program management on top of and integrating the entire program, the entire transformation,
true.
that's another key component too. What are your thoughts on the PMO side of it? I know that's something that you might be almost as passionate about PMO as you are phase zero implementation
Well, I
plan.
am. Well, the known industry statistic that we put out there all of the time that everyone has agreed upon is 70 to 80% of implementations fail to meet objectives for an organization. And as you're bringing together multiple systems that you just described, so you may be implementing an ERP system like an Infor, an SAP, an Oracle, as well as Salesforce, as well as UKG from a workforce management perspective. All of those pieces coming together need to be coordinated, managed, and too often that management is left up to the software vendor. It's left up to the systems integrator, whereas, as I do call them, the wrench turners that do a great job of implementing that software system right, but it's one software system. So bringing that all together under an umbrella and assigning the right governance within the organization as an extension of your internal team is vitally important to a successful roadmap for the entire digital transformation.